has received, I quote, "My wife has not been supportive in my ministerial works. She knows how much I love to serve God, even before marriage. What can I do?"
Pray. Pray more and love your wife more. Marriage itself is a ministry. Marriage in itself is a ministry. So if you cannot serve your wife, how will you be able to serve God's people? Charity begins from home. This is a common error that most ministers make. They take ministry above their marriage. No, God will not support you and your ministry against your home. God is not an author of confusion, but of peace. God is not an author of confusion. So in this case, we know in part. From this question, we know in part. We don't know the whole thing. Well, I still told someone yesterday. My spiritual formation when I was growing up. My dad was a pastor, and I learned a lot. It was then that I realized that my dad, being a pastor, also a father. So I thought every pastor is supposed to be a father. Yes, but most pastors are pastors, but they are not father. They are not father. So because yes, that is another topic for another day. Because your father will want you to be better than him, but your pastor can compete with you. So that's another day. So because so I'm not looking for a pastor, I'm looking for a father. So in this case, my dad was that I know in the house is the same the dad that I knew behind the pulpit. No double. So in this question now, that my wife has not been supportive, what you are preaching to people outside, is that the same thing you are putting inside to your wife? The way people see you outside, is that the same way your wife sees you at home? So if your wife knows, as long as your wife is not an unbeliever, is not the devil herself, then she will know that my husband at home is the same husband behind the pulpit. But adventure, he might be seeing a different man behind the pulpit and a different man in the house. Of course, it will be very difficult to lead your because your primary assignment is your home. Family marriage is a ministry. So I don't see. We have attended to things like this before. When people say, "Oh, my wife doesn't want to serve me," no, it's not about your wife. It's about you. How do you who you are to your wife? Is this the same thing that you present yourself to be? So many of us have double garment. The garment outside is different from the garment inside. If my wife sees me different outside, of course, it will be difficult for me to carry her along, because she knows that I wear one garment inside, there are another garment outside. So let's look at ourselves. I might not be able to change my wife, but I can change myself. If I change myself,
yes, sir,
my wife will change. So I want to talk to the husband of this. Let's look inward. We know in part. So I don't want us to just dwell on this, that my wife is not supportive. Who you are you who you are to your wife? If you are a figure of Christ to your wife, of course, except you want to say that your wife is unbeliever.
I also want to that, because even that questionable is questionable. That question is questionable, because this man says, my wife has not been supportive in my ministerial work. So it's a me thing. And the Bible says in Amos 3, can two work together except they are in agreement? So in the first place, we can tell that they are not working together. It's about the ministry. It's not your ministry. So that means our brother, we will want to encourage you. Please come down from your horse, okay? And come to your wife. Be one. Be together. When you are one, then you will run together. When one is getting tired, the other is holding to run together. To run together. Running the ministry shouldn't be your issue. It should be for both of you. It should be for both of you. Whenever we're at a point in time, I don't want to take too much time so that we can move further, so that I don't say stories. But there has to be agreement so that it won't be your problem. It will be both of you, and you both go to God and run together.